Okay, I'm sure you're all well aware of the gas shortage that has been going on over the past week or so, but let's break down what actually happened. So, the Colonial Pipeline, which is the biggest in the nation and operating in 14 states, provides 45% of all fuel consumed on the East Coast. The Colonial Pipeline experienced a ransomware hack, which led the company to shut down operations to prevent the spread of the attack. Subsequently, in the expectation of a shortage, there was a run on gas stations, which many of you have probably seen, contributing to large numbers of stations being without gas in several southeastern states. Um, but the Colonial Pipeline service is scheduled to return to normal. However, there are other factors that are contributing to this shortage and just higher gas prices in general over the last few months. One of the major factors is that there's a tanker truck driver shortage that is still lingering from the pandemic related drop in the demand for fuel. CNN reported in April that about 20 to 25% of tankers in the fleet are parked heading into the summer. Also, post pandemic demand is putting upward pressure on fuel prices. CNN also reported that fuel demand has almost fully returned to the 2019 levels. So, when you have these supply constraints coupled with boosts in demand, you're going to see the higher prices that we've been seeing. But there are also a few notable government imposed supply constraints which are causing prices to rise and are heavily contributing to the shortage that we're seeing. One of the reasons that the Colonial Pipeline is so critical and so again supplies 45% of the all fuel on the East Coast is that the government has shut down or opposed some other major pipeline construction projects. This is best categorized by John Miltimore of the Foundation for Economic Education. He lays this out. He mentions that the Biden administration has scrapped the Keystone Pipeline, which would have carried 800,000 barrels of oil per day from Alberta to the Gulf Coast. Governor Whitmer of Michigan also forced the shutdown of a pipeline. Dominion Energy also announced the cancellation of the Atlantic Coast Pipeline due to regulatory uncertainty, which of course meaning they're not sure whether the government might shut them down as well, or have enough burdensome regulation where they can't reap a profit. Also, the fate of the Dakota Access Pipeline also hangs in the balance and is pending court decision. There's also the Jones Act. The Jones Act mandates that ships transporting goods between U.S. ports must be built in the U.S. and staffed by American crews. So this is going to raise the cost of transporting oil by water. However, due to the shortage that we're seeing now in the Colonial Pipeline hack, the Biden administration has granted a waiver to an undisclosed company to allow foreign ships to transport oil from the Gulf Coast to the East Coast, to those states that badly need oil or badly need fuel. The Jones Act has also been waived several times in the past to alleviate supply shortages for natural disasters, right? Because it allows for a cheaper transport of fuel if now foreign ships are also allowed to transport fuel by water. The Biden administration has also lifted environmental regulations, which are burdensome to gas producers. So regulations that require reformulated gasoline have now been lifted, or temporarily, to allow for the sale of cheaper and more volatile gasoline that would otherwise be available. These requirements were also lifted in the past to alleviate shortages during natural disasters. Another major factor contributing to the shortage that we're seeing now is price controls, right? So price gouging enforcements, such as those implemented by North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper, tend to exacerbate shortages. And this is because if prices are not allowed to rise, consumers are not incentivized to limit their purchases when supply shocks occur. Hence, the pumps are going to run dry faster due to panic buying, because if the prices aren't reflecting the scarcity, people are going to buy it until it runs dry. So these are some things that we're seeing going on here, contributing to, again, higher gas prices over the last few months in general, and the shortage that we're seeing now. But let me know your thoughts. Email me at jamestalaka@economytv.info. Love to hear from you. See you next time.